Hi guys, Stuart here from lawnmowing101.com. I'm here today to talk to you about naming your lawn mowing business and what you can do to get it right, what you can do to get it horribly wrong. Best to know both things. Now, just a bit of background on me. You may be wondering who I am. I've been mowing lawns for about 30 years. I've sold a lot of lawn mowing businesses. I've built and sold. I've had up to 5 vehicles on the road at one time, quite a few people. I'm kind of tailing down a bit at the moment and taking it easy, and thought I might share some of the knowledge that I've learned over the past 30 years or so. So yeah, as I say, today we're going to be talking about naming your business. Now this, believe it or not, can be one of the most important things you can do for your business, is give it a decent name. You can get it wrong, and if you get it wrong, so many things just won't work. Your name has got to be it's got to be right for your business to go ahead. It's the first thing I like to do when I start a lawn mowing business, is come up with a name, and everything else goes on from there. You need to decide on a name, and in order to decide on a name, you need to ask yourself, why are you mowing lawns? So are you mowing lawns to, do you just want a local business? Do you and are you happy doing that, or are you aiming for world domination? And also, do you want to sell your business at some stage? Because if you're a small business and you're just mowing a few lawns around town, and you have no intentions of building it any bigger, or even selling it at any stage, then you can call it whatever you like. But if you're going to build a large business, if you're going to build a business that you do want to sell and that you do want to make sellable, then you need to get a few things right from the start, because it's pretty hard to change it once you've already started. The first thing you need to do is you need to have a name that's easy to remember, because if I see a vehicle drive past and it's a service guy and I want to use him, I want to be able to remember who he is. I want to be able to go and look him up in the phone book, or look him up online. The other thing that you should do is don't name it after your town. Don't name it something local, because unless you're going to stay local your entire life, because you won't be able to take it anywhere. I mean, I live in Hamilton. If I called this Hamilton's Lawn Mowing, and then things were going really well, and I decided to move into Auckland as well as Hamilton, well, then I couldn't really have a lawn mowing business in Auckland called Hamilton Lawn Care. It just wouldn't work. People aren't going to ring you with a name that's another town. And the same thing goes with your name. I mean, people like to call businesses after their name, like J. Brown's Lawn Care. Well, the thing is that nobody's really going to want to buy J. Brown's Lawn Care, and because they're not J. Brown, or their name isn't Josh. So why should they be running a business called Josh's Lawn Care? It's another thing that doesn't work. And the thing is that you may run along fine for years with a name like that, but when it really comes to bite you is when you go to sell the business, because your buyers are going to be limited. Now, the other thing you want to avoid is trying to be clever with your name. It just doesn't work, especially these days when people are looking up your name online. I mean, if you have a business and you're called like Nice Lawns, but you decide to be clever and spell it K-N-I-C-E, who's going to remember that? And if you decide you'd be even more clever and put a Z on the end of the lawns instead of an S, well, the thing is, you've just bombed your SEO. You've just bombed people being able to find you through any kind of organic search, because people aren't going to know these things. If you're going to spell a word naming your business, you want to do it right. You want to have the correct spelling. You don't want to be clever about it, because nobody is going to go and look for your business, and take the time to remember that you've just, to be different, you spelled the name differently. So keep that in mind. And the other thing that you want to watch is names that could be seen as being offensive. I mean, I had a guy that I dealt with a few years ago, and he bought a lawn mowing business off me, and it was a Gecko Lawns business, so he bought the accounts only, he didn't buy the name, and he had his own name, and he decided to call it Up Your Grass Mowing. Now, that name, you've got to wonder, if I was ringing somebody, to get my lawns cut, I'm not really going to want to ring a guy called Up Your Grass. I'm not going to be comfortable having a vehicle parked outside on the road with big writing across it saying Up Your Grass Lawn Mowing. It just doesn't work. So I mean, the name's clever, but it's not right for a business. You just can't. You can't name. And so be careful with your name and keep that in mind. And also try not to use names with a double meaning. Like there's a business that I know of called Shortcuts. Now the thing about shortcuts is shortcuts can mean a couple of things, and neither of them are good for him, because a shortcut could mean that he cuts the lawns really short, and if they ring him and they expect him to be cutting their lawns like super short, then he's just made a rod for his own back, because he shouldn't be cutting the lawn short, and if he does cut the lawn short, well, that's going to be a lot of extra work, isn't it? And then the other thing is that shortcut could mean that he cuts corners, that he doesn't do the complete job, that he doesn't bother doing this or he doesn't bother doing that. Now, neither of those connotations are good. So shortcuts may sound good, but probably not the best name for your business. Now, I mean, I met a guy the other day, and his name was Lawn Star, and that Lawn Star is a good name. There's nothing wrong with that name, because what I like about it, and what I like about names like that, is you go LAWNS into a search engine, and you're going to find his name, because it's easy to find. You only have to type 5 things in. If you can have a name like that, then that's great. That's going to make it really, really easy for people to find you online. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, so when you come up with an idea for a name, the first thing you want to do is you want to check that idea, check that name to see whether anybody else is doing it. Now, if you go to my website, lawnmowing101.com, and go to the article about naming your lawn care business, I've actually got lots of links here of places like the office where you check your name and check and see who's registered what. So you can find out whether anybody's got the name registered, because some people actually have a name registered, they're not even using it, they just have it sitting there. But the thing is that you get your business, you start operating under that name. Hey, the domain may even be available, so you start operating underneath this name, and then you find out 2 years later you get a cease and desist letter in the mail, because he owns the name. There's nothing you can do. I mean, it's going to cost you a huge amount of money to fight that, and it won't be worth it. So the idea is to check it first. Just make sure that nobody's interested in that name before you go ahead and use it. The other thing is that when you're working on a lawn mowing name, or when you're thinking about a lawn mowing name, look around town and just make sure that you're not subconsciously getting an idea off another lawn mowing guy, and you haven't named your business too close to theirs, because that's going to cause a bit of friction as well, and you don't want that. You just want to knuckle down and get ahead with your business. Now, the other thing is that should you use a slogan? Well, I think slogans are good, and I think they're really, really good if you don't say what you're doing in your name. So Gecko Lawns says that we mow lawns. So everybody knows that. But if you had a name like Total Home Care or Total Property Care, then you may want a tagline with that mentions that you do that you do lawns. So for my own business, I've used the fine art of lawn mowing as a tagline. I don't really need to say that again, to let people know. But I just like it, and I like the fact that I personally think that mowing a lawn well is an art form. So and that gives a good message. So you can have a slogan that either lets people know what you do, or lets people know what you do that's your point of difference, the thing that makes you stand out from everybody else. So have a think about that. I've got a few examples on my website if you want to go and have a look at that, and decide what works for you and what doesn't. Now the other thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a logo. Now there's a few different ways of going about getting a logo, but I should first say that a good logo is a thing that is simple, not too complicated. I saw one today, and it had a massive amount of toning and everything. It had two hands like this. It had a massive amount of toning, and the colours were very similar. And when I looked at the vehicles in the yard, it looked like a big blob on the door. I couldn't even see what the logo was. You don't want to be too clever. You want to keep it fairly simple. Keep the colours fairly bright, so people just look at it and they go, "Oh yes, I know. I've seen that before." You want to bring that feeling on. Now you could design it yourself. I designed my own logo, but then I've got a background in the signwriting industry, so I know my way around that kind of software. But I wouldn't recommend that unless you do. I mean, I've seen a few people design logos using Office, and to be honest, they never look good. Anybody like I drive past, I can recognise them instantly. They just don't have that look. Now you could get a piece of clip art as your logo. A clip art can work. I mean, but the thing is that it'll only work if you want to keep your business small. It'll work if you don't mind if someone else in another town is using that same logo. If that doesn't worry you, then you can use a piece of clip art, and it is about the simplest and the cheapest thing to do. The only thing you do need to watch out when you do that is just be aware that you can actually, some of the logos, or if you go to a place and get some clip art, some clip art is not available for a logo, and it normally has that written down there. So you want to check that the clip art that you're buying is actually available to be used as a logo. Otherwise you could find yourself in a bit of trouble there. The other idea is to go to a place like 99 Designs, or like Fiverr or something like that, and pay somebody to design a logo for you. Now I've done this with some of my other businesses, and it has worked really well. I've got a friend that's had logos designed for him, and some of the places, you can get a really nice logo for under $100. Some places you pay $3 or $4. But if you want to build a large business and you want something that's unique, then perhaps this is the road that you need to go down. So basically that's all I really want to say right now. But if you want to actually explore it further and have a look at some of the examples, and have a look at some of the things that I've done, and some of the things and some of the links to sites that can help you do this, then pop along to my click on the link below and go down and check out Lawn Mowing 101, and basically that site will tell you everything you need to know. So until I see you next time, you guys have fun mowing lawns. Bye.